give it a quick file, take those points off.
Again, you should really be using your safety gloves.
And then you're going to take your last box section, which will be the 690mm one, with two notch ends. And the holes are already in. Make sure the holes are to front parallel, and check the box section in your hole. If it doesn't fit, you'll need to file your hole out very slightly, but somebody already seems to have done ours. So, yeah. And then what you need to do, and obviously you need a centre line on there again, all the way around like I told you in the previous ones. So then what we need to do is make two angle iron fixing brackets, two angles bent out of some aluminium like you have done on the other parts of the car. This is made from the off-put pack again, and these are going to fit on there. That's that. We've cut them so that they run parallel with the box, so that otherwise it would stick out over here. So cut it level with the end of the box, and then we can fix same at the other end. And then we can fix that in with pot rates and the drum. What we're going to do first, we need to square this box up again from the front box. Same practice as what you've done with all the previous other box sections.
Maybe I'll just point that out. Yeah. So we've got a centre line here, and centre line there.
Use your square, or your plate square which you've made. Centre it up.
That's straight there.
So now we can fix that in.
Again, you're going to
Use your drill, 6mm drill.
6mm drill.
You will see that our operators have shown you a method of making sure that the box sections are in the correct place on the body. Now, providing that you have built the main body as we've said, and that your measurements on your jig board are correct, and you've also done diagonal measurements throughout the whole body, then there's no reason that you shouldn't be looking at the body to be a guide to the holes that are in the box sections. So what I'm actually saying is, you can see that the hole is just there, and you can see the body there. There is something like 12mm between the edge of that hole and the start of the body. I believe that providing that the body is square in the first place, if you made that distance equal on both sides, so there was exactly 12mm there and 12mm on the other side, that would be the best way to check that you've got those members in the right place. And obviously the same thing applies to these, where the hole is on the inside. All you would do is measure from the inside, the centre of the hole, the edge of the hole to the body, and providing it was the same on both sides, then that would mean then that you were okay with the position of those members. You'll see that depending on the amount of travel that the wishbone is going to take, you may have to extend that that bite out further, we've already made the provision for that in the mouse hole we've put in the body, top and bottom. So until you actually get your wishbones on and you move them up and down, I mean, we're assuming that the roads you're going to go on are reasonable roads. If you've got really, really bad roads and you've probably done some work to the suspension to alter it, then you may need to have to relieve that further to give you more movement on your wishbone.
So we're going to fix it to the side of the car first.
I'll just say that it is a good idea. Maybe you'll just have to spring your side in just slightly. It may not be 90. Just get that side looking nice and parallel. Then hold your angle line to it.
We'll get on either end. Right, so now we can check if it's still in the correct place. Right again. Check it both ways. That's good. And then you can drill through with the angle which you've made and through the box section. Just before you do check it again, just final, because it is very important, these box sections, that they are square in the right place. Give you a little bit. Yep, that's okay. And one in the front.
You can see that during this operation the guard has not been fixed to the end of the pot rivet air gun. This must be in position all the time.
We're going to put 4 rivets in each side of this, and a couple more in the side, over the side, and that's it. And then you're going to repeat the process on the other side.
So the next 2 panels we're going to fit is going to be marked 28A, 28B. The bridge panels. Now remember earlier that we showed you to rivet this box section here. Now remember you only need to rivet the middle 5 holes. This allows you then to fit this panel on, which is going to go there, and you'll drill through that panel and rivet it on. Now before you do that, what you need to be doing is you're going to bend these panels from those 2 cutouts there, and the same on the 28A, there and there. And you're going to bend those up to roughly about 85, 87 degrees. So now, as you can see, I've bent this panel up, this bridge panel. This is 28B, is it? 27B? So, what we've done is we've bent it up. I've drilled 3 holes here, the 3 holes here. Now, when you're drilling these 3 holes, what you want to do is from the bottom, you're going to measure 60mm up. This will then correspond with the existing rivets that you already have in this box section here. Then on your top, you want to be doing 3 corresponding holes 25mm down. That will also pick up the centre of that box section there. So I'll also have to tell you that on your bag you will have to sand this down. This is a plasma art panel, so do make sure that you take off all the bays. This is especially important on this face here, because any bays left will show on the outside of your body. So come in, I'll put this panel in. As you can see, it's got a slot out ready. It's got an overlarge hole here and an overlarge hole here. Just make sure that those clear the existing holes in your box section. So I've already pre-drilled those 3 holes in that box section. You may just have to run the drill through just to align it. Rivet that into place. So the next stage is one thing that you can't see from the camera angle that you've got there, but there will be a gap here. This is because this top box section is slightly set forward from the bottom box section. So you'll have to get your panel, just slightly tweak it in, pushing from here, give it a slight fold, then a slight fold the opposite way. Your lip will overlap here. Just make sure that's really tight up. Make sure it's also pushed to the body side. Then you can drill a hole.
You can see that during this operation the guard has not been fixed to the end of the top rivet air gun. This must be in position all the time.
And once that's in position, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a hole there, with 2 holes there and one in the top tab. This will tie all your body side up. Now what you might want to do at the same time as you're doing that is take your opposite panel that's going to go on the other side, and you want to make these holes, put them in exactly the same position on your opposite sides, and this will just make everything tally up and you won't notice any discrepancies.
Make sure your body's out the way on the other side of the panel so you get drill into yourself.
So again, you're going to take your oversized drill, just debar that, having peeled back your plastic from those holes. obviously your rivet comes in on the outside. Just push those tabs up slightly. That's that in position. Well, we'll just add that when you're drilling these holes here, just make sure that you don't put the hole too close to the existing hole in the box section. So any rivets inside that's too close won't allow your wishbone eye to fit in. So I should say you want at least probably 40 millimeters away from your hole there.
What we're going to do now is we're going to drag the chassis forward, and then we're going to explain how to mark out all the holes in the engine bay and drill those.
So just make sure as you're pulling your body forward that you cleaned your bench, there's nothing underneath that's going to damage any of your panels. Forward, another couple of feet.
Right, we're now going to mark out the holes. We're just going to run down here, down there, across there, and across there. These are to pull all these engine plates together and make them really tight. So we're going to start off by marking 20mm in, 20mm there, 20mm there, 20mm there.
Take any bit of strip you've got or something.
Just any straight edge.
Around there. I don't think it's going to quite fit around.
Mark that in there. Carry it under it. And then we're going to go every 50mm we're going to mark for a hole. No, that's right. The same on the other side, 50mm again. Then we're going to go from here.
Roughly coming in about 25mm to pick up your angle line that was there.
And we'll just mark corresponding hole down from those pop rivets that are right here. And the same on the other side.
I just happen to have a here that I know is 25mm wide, so I'll use that. Same again, you're going to have a hole there. or there, and there, if you just squeeze it in. They're corresponding to the holes, so they've got it incorporated in.
So we'll drill all these holes at 6mm, 6.59 I think it is. Right, so as you can see, we've drilled all the holes, we've brought the car forward, swept up underneath and taken off all the swarf off the holes from underneath. Having made sure now Paul can go underneath, wearing his goggles on his head so he don't get any swarf in his eyes. I'm going to put the bolts in as we've used before, straight through, like that, and tighten them up.
Definitely wear goggles in these circumstances.
So now we come on to the next little section that we're going to do. We're not actually going to finish these panels completely. I'll just explain to you. What you've got is you've got two dashboard options here. You've got your light mounted panels, yeah, here and here. That's the outer and the inner. So what you're going to come and do is you take your option panels here, you're going to flip that over. You'll peel the plastic off of this side here. Then you want to be really sanding these down, really take all the bears off. Sand them down all over, make sure it's nice and sanded off. Once you've peeled your plastic off of this face, you're also going to sand that face. And you can do the other side as well, make sure all the bears and everything's taken off. So once you've done that, the side that you peeled the plastic off, you're going to take the tube of what we call Sikaflex polyurethane sealer. This is high quality stuff you get in your kit. You're going to run your Sikaflex gun. Well, obviously you'll need a gun, and you're going to attach that into your gun. And then you run your Sikaflex all the way around the edge, there, all the way around, back up, right into that tab there, all the way up here. Don't run your Sikaflex onto these tabs, you'll leave those. All the way down, give it a real good, amount of Sikaflex. Make sure you cover the panel. Once you've done that, you take your second panel. See that that'll flip over, that'll rest on. What you're going to do is make sure they're all nice and in line. Really stick that down, make sure it's nice and tight. Now, you'll notice that you've got your instruments here and here. You'll notice that when you come to put them together, they won't actually line up. This is intentional, this is to give you the option for you at home to decide yourself which way around you want your instrument panels to be. Now you can either have maybe your accelerator, your speedo here, your fuel gauge here and your smaller depth instruments here, or you might decide that you want to have it the opposite way, and obviously your steering wheel will be somewhere here, or you might decide that you want your speedo to be on the inside of your vehicle. So once you've glued those together, you decide which way around you want your instruments to be, and then you'll cut your corresponding holes out, either have your instruments that way or your instruments that way. So once that's glued together, you then come to your light bracket. You peel your plastic from there, give that a real good rub down again with some sandpaper or emery cloth or whatever you want to use. Come again, same again, inside all this 3 area here. Give that a good sand in. And again you'll take your Sikaflex, run it down there, down there, and down there. Then you'll see that your inner light bracket has got a cut out here. This corresponds to this cut out here. Make sure that you do put it in the right way around. So you just slot that inside there once you've got your Sikaflex on. Give it a good push down, make sure it's all in and aligned. And again, now you take those 2 panels and you put them aside for your Sikaflex to really set. Now this tube of Sikaflex doesn't actually tell you on it how long it does need, so I should say that possibly leaving for at least 24 hours for that Sikaflex really to set in and to make sure that it all gets tied together and bonded. Now I'll just show you 2 panels that were previously completed. So you see that it's all Sikaflex together, you 2 panels, same way.
The idea of this one in the front of this is to give it added strength. So and then while those are drying, you can carry on and do other jobs on your chassis.
The next section we're going to come to is we're going to place on the 2 tunnel tops, which are labelled here 8A
And 8B.
and 8B, which we're going to fit in here. Right, but before we can do that, you can see on the camera that there's an access hole here so you can put your prop shaft on, and what we're going to do is we're going to only temporarily fix these 2 tunnel tops using some nuts and bolts, because obviously at some stage you're going to have to come to get your prop shaft in and the engine in the engine bay, so you'll need to be able to remove them. But it's a good idea to make sure that they do fit first.
So it also depends on what engine you're going to be putting in.
Yeah.
Because you might have to remove it to do a bit of work around here, or alter this or alter that. Depends on the engine.
So at this stage we're just going to have to move the entire chassis backwards to allow that hole to over-end the back so you can get access to that.
As you can see, very light. Move it back quite easily. Some good further. That's it.
Just make sure it's sat down nice and snugly.
Just bring it in. That's it.
There you go, that's located.
Right, the next stage in the fitting of the tunnel top is, see these 2 bits here that protrude in above the tunnel side. You need to remove those so that the tunnel top will actually fit on. So if you cut the opposite side to you, which you're on, you can see that the line that you've got to cut to. So what I'm going to do is snip across there, like so. Carefully doing it as you go, not to damage anything else. That's that clipped off. All you need to do is just file those sharp pieces off before you actually fit your tunnel top.